You know, I gotta say, I went into this movie without the general consensus about this movie in mind. I went in with an open mind and I wanted to form my own opinion. And I gotta say, I agree with some of the comments that the general consensus had, and then I disagree with some as well. But I've decided to form my own opinion, as I should, of course. And with that being said, here's my review of Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel. So Captain Marvel is a story about a character, fish out of water, dare I say, or alien out of space, or human that was originally from Earth and then became this specific race, no spoilers, and then went into space, lost her memory, and then came back. I don't know how you want to put it. Whatever. You can label it however you want. Point is, it's a fish out of water story. We are introduced to this character. We learn about her past through flashbacks here and there. There's a lot of popular songs and pop culture references in this movie because this movie does take place in the 90s, specifically 1995. Not really much of a spoiler, but if you know basic math, you'll figure that out easily. But anyways, without trying to sound like I'm spoiling, it's basically the story about a character who learns about her past and knowing that she's from the planet Earth, but she's also part of this noble warrior race who has superpowers, and basically she can shoot photon blasts and fly and stuff like that. And with that, she meets along some of the characters that we were already introduced in past Marvel movies, except this does take place at a certain point in the past. I mean, we're introduced to a younger version of Nick Fury. We also have a younger version of Nick Coulson in this movie, and various other characters that are kind of forgettable with the exception of like some of the characters like the Skrulls. And those characters are actually really good. But anyways, my opinion on the movie. Was this movie good? It's passable. And here's why. Let me elaborate on that. The movie is passable, meaning like the movie is that kid that always gets straight C's and passed his class. That's what I mean that it's passable. Now, before I give my official grade rating, let me explain why. You know when you go see a superhero movie or a movie that features like a main lead that you really know and love and that you really care about? Yeah, those emotions weren't going through my mind. In fact, a lot of the supporting characters stole the show. And I'm not going to name specifically who, but it was really surprising when I found out who I believe stole the show from me. And I was like, you know what? Didn't see that coming. And that's why I'm going to give the grade that this movie deserves in a moment. It's because of that surprise. I was like, I didn't really see that coming. Props to Marvel for that. Marvel gets a little bit creative. Now, about the whole tone of the movie, there is a shift of tone. It doesn't seem like it knows what it wants to be. And let me give you a perfect example and elaborate on that further. You know, when you see other Marvel films or any other movie in general, you recognize the tone of the movie because of the director behind the camera. Yeah, I couldn't figure out who directed this movie. It felt like different directors directed this movie, and I couldn't figure out the tones because there was a lot of tonal shifts throughout the movie. And sometimes it felt a little bit bland. And let's not talk about that ending because the ending, well, it's in the trailer. That part's fine, but the ending I was expecting something a little bit more, you know, more climactic. In fact, the very ending, which is a specific battle sequence that I won't get, if you can call it a battle sequence, was a little anticlimactic. It just fell a little short. Now, Brie Larson, let's talk about her for a moment. She is a brilliant actress. I think this role wasn't exactly for her because it kind of fell short for me. There are times where I'm looking for that relationship chemistry kind of thing with other supporting characters, specifically Nick Fury, and I couldn't find that balance because, honestly, to me, I felt like the character took herself a little too seriously. They could have used a little bit more humor, and in fact, the supporting characters actually provided more humor than our main character. And I really wanted to care for our lead. That's not to say that if you go into this movie not knowing anything about Captain Marvel or any of the history of Captain Marvel, you're not going to like this movie. There are some people in the audience in the theater that I went to that really seem to have enjoyed this movie. But to me, honestly, I really wanted to care about the lead character a little bit more. So let me just break it down real quick what I didn't like. The anticlimactic ending. The bland tone of the film. The tonal shifts of the film. Not exactly a clear narrative. Bonuses, But the real pluses are that the supporting characters were actually pretty fun and entertaining. Specifically, one character was very entertaining, and it took me by surprise. So I'll give it props for that. There's another supporting character that I didn't really care about or liked because I felt like it was kind of forced. And you'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. But it was really cut short. And I was like, all right, well, who cares? It was never revisited again. But whatever. And then now the cameos that we got from, let's say, Phil Coulson, not a spoiler, he's not really much in the movie. I was like, come on. It's just like a shot of him here and there. Boom. Done. And I was like, what the hell, man? Seriously? They could have given him more screen time. Come on. So, aside from those criticisms, I gotta say that I'm pretty impressed with like the CG work in this movie, especially the de-aging process. We've come a long way in filming and how to de-age actors because it is really impressive stuff. Didn't even notice it. There was a couple of instances here and there where I did notice the CGI in the faces of, let's say, Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, the guy is 69 years old, so you have to de-age him. And Clark Gregg, who plays Phil Coulson. There were a couple of instances where I didn't notice the CGI, but I'll give it a pass because it's only getting better. But other than that, it's still pretty much impressive work with modern technology that we have today, and it's amazing what we can do in films these days. So again, this movie is passable, and overall, it was a pretty entertaining experience, but it kind of fell short because of that anticlimactic ending. It was kind of a bland narrative. Some of the things and like some of the plot twists in the movie were kind of obvious. I kind of saw it a mile away, and it was kind of no surprise to me when I learned about those revelations. And for that, I'm kind of disappointed, but still was slightly entertained due to, like, again, the supporting characters. Some of the actions was pretty good, but everything else kind of fell short, and it was just like kind of like a breeze. Like, it just, all right, on to the next one. The one movie that we actually really care about. And that's Avengers Endgame. But besides that, guys, I'm going to give Captain Marvel a C+. Guys, I was really looking forward to this movie, and I was pretty excited overall, but slightly disappointed with the results. I hope the sequel's better. And I don't know if I can really fault Brie Larson for her performance. Maybe it's partially her performance, maybe it's the writing, and maybe it's the direction that they wanted to take the character, but I thought it could have been a little bit better. So guys, that's my review. I'm totally reviewing this at around 11:20 at night, and I am not in my underwear. So, anyways, guys, thank you for watching my review. If you enjoyed it, please like it. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Be sure to comment down below if you saw the movie. If you liked it, let me know your thoughts. And do you agree with my comments about the movie? And do you agree with my criticisms of Captain Marvel? So, I highly suggest you go in this movie without reading the general consensus or the reviews or anything like that. Just go in with an open mind and just watch it and then form your own opinion, guys. Please do not attack Brie Larson. Do not attack this movie. And I really appreciate it if you share your thoughts with me because I really want to talk to you guys. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next comic panel.